So I grew up about an hour south of Hoboken, and I grew up in the church. My parents were very active serving there, and I got to see a lot of people experience God and worship Him in some awesome ways. After I was in high school for a little while, I started dating a girl, and we got pretty serious pretty quickly, and we got very quickly into a sexual relationship, which was not great. And I got very guilty about that very quickly, obviously, because of my upbringing. And at that time, I really had to make a serious choice whether I was going to pursue that girlfriend or pursue God. And ultimately, I chose the girlfriend, and I walked away from God. And after I graduated high school, I moved here to Hoboken and started attending Stevens. A friend of mine from church, my church back home, was already at Stevens, and he was attending Hoboken Grace at the time already. And I knew that he was going to want me to go, and I had interest in going as well. I was still attending church. I still thought of myself as a Christian, so I gave it a shot, and it was great. I was starting to grow a lot closer to God through dinner groups, and I got really close with that friend who I wasn't very close with when I first moved here. We became really close friends. I was still dating my girlfriend at the time, and it was becoming more and more apparent that it was a very toxic relationship, just because of how intimate we were without that commitment level, and also the fact that she did not believe in God and had no interest in believing in God and was very vocal about that. My friend from church back home knew her, and he knew her pretty well, and he would express that to me often, that it really was a bad relationship to be in and it was a bad environment. I didn't want to end that relationship. It was hard, but I knew that if I wanted to get closer to God, it was something I needed to do. I needed to cut off that relationship. So shortly after breaking off that relationship, I planned a trip to the Passion Conference in Atlanta, and she wanted to continue to have this relationship keep going, and so she decided to come with me. I was really against that. I knew that if I wanted to get closer to God and really get anything out of this conference, I really needed to distance myself from that relationship as much as possible, and that wasn't going to be easy with her there. But she came anyway. During one of the worship services, she had a pretty amazing experience with God, and her heart was totally changed. She pulled me aside and told me all this, and obviously, I thought she was a liar. I didn't believe a word that she said. But regardless, I still wanted to confirm it with God, to kind of figure out, what's going on here? Is she for real? Is she just trying to mess with me? And I basically just asked him, what's going on? Like, what do I need to do here? What do I need to do with this relationship? And I very clearly heard him say, show her love. And I was kind of amazed to hear his voice so clearly, and everything that I would ask him, he would just repeat, show her love. So I knew what I had to do, and I knew that I needed to invest in that relationship, but make it a Christ-centered relationship and not centered on myself or anything else. And the relationship totally changed, partially because she totally changed after that week. It was an amazing shift in personality and character. So about 6 months after that conference, we got married, and he really worked in her life and changed her heart and made her a new person and made me a new person through that. So twice in my life, I was faced with the decision to choose between what God wanted for me and what I thought was best for me. And the first time I chose to go with my selfish needs, and it got me into a lot of pain and distance from God, and it could have led me into a lot of places that I didn't want to go. So the second time I decided to follow Him, and it's been incredible to see what can really happen when you put your trust in Him and just let Him take you where He wants to go.